Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have my guest Usher, who is president of Astronomy Club. So I'd like to hand over to Usher to introduce himself.
Thank you, Tandeep. I'm Ashar. I'm the president of Astronomy Club, like he said. I've been at RMIT almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in February, so that's not too far.
That's
Yeah.
nice. So Usher, I have got some few questions today
Yeah.
for you. So first of all, I'd like to ask your personal details. Some of the
Sure.
personal things, not very.
Would you
So
like my credit card number?
no. But if you want to donate some money, I am there always.
Sure, absolutely.
Just kidding.
Hmm.
So, Usher, my first question is that so if you I want to get into the astronomy club, so how does it work?
So because we're under RUSU, the process is very simple. You just find us on Instagram or literally Google RMIT Astronomy Society. You'll find us. It's a Google form. You fill it in, and you remember. You'll get at least 5 emails a day directly from me.
That's right. No, in general, not for just RMIT. In general, do most of the universities have astronomy club?
Most of them don't actually. From what I've learned, so we are in touch with other astronomy societies for the state. They've told us that we are one of like maybe three or four. RMIT has a space club, but it's not very active. Monash has a general space sciences association, but they're not that big. And so I think we're one of the few. We are the largest, I think, in the state at least in terms of student-led ones.
That's very
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so it comes under RUSU, right?
Yeah.
So, if I don't belong to astronomy club, I don't have any idea about astronomy.
Yeah.
So even then, also I can get involved in this.
Absolutely, we have so many people. They have never. So a very good way we get members is if it's a good night and the moon's out, we'll just take my really big telescope. It's about this big. It's a really big telescope. We'll set it in the city on Swanson Street, and then people come by. They look at the moon, and then that's where you start. So our aim is to ignite that spark and continue your passion. So even if you have no idea about astronomy, even if you have a hint of interest, we encourage you to join. We welcome everyone. We have some RMIT staff as our members, so you're doing your age checks, because under 18 laws and stuff, and randomly there's 62-year-old. So we encounter that sometimes. So we have staff, we have students, we have some high school kids. So we are welcome absolutely everyone.
That's nice. So this brings to me. This brings to the next question. Like I am asking just about students right now. So is this like, are you an international student or a citizen over here?
So I'm an international student. I come from Singapore. Like I'm an Indian citizen, but I was like halfway raised in Singapore.
Okay, so it means like you told you're president of astronomy club. So it doesn't matter that you have to be a citizen over here. It can be international students as well, right?
Not at all. Anyone who is eligible to run
Yeah.
can run. Our requirements are very simple. It is literally you should have attended you should be an RMIT student, obviously, and you should have attended at least one event in the last like semester, which is like 6 months. It's really easy to do that. So.
Oh, that's nice. So yeah, like we are talking about the event. So I just want to know that these events are free or some paid.
We try to make sure most of them are free. So like the public viewing ones where we just set up a telescope, or when we did one with the Saxon, they're a telescope and microscope manufacturer. We just do some of them where we give away things, we get people to look at things. Those are usually free because it doesn't cost us any money. Why should we charge you? The only times we charge if there's a lot of travel or if it's a very expensive event. Like last month in July, we went to a place called Pyramid Hill. No one's ever heard of it, which makes it actually very ideal for a stargazing location. But we do get funding from RUSU, so we ensure that everything's very affordable. You could go for that event, stay one night, get like 3 or 4 meals, and we'll cover your train tickets and literally anything you needed. That cost, like the most expensive ticket there was $60. So I think compared to other clubs which charge 100 or 200, sometimes like we have the anime club, they did a hot spring event, it's like $400. So I like to think we're affordable because I myself I'm a broke university student, so I try to be empathetic.
I think so. Every student can relate that.
Yeah.
That's nice. So this means it is under RUSO, not RMIT University.
Yep, it's under RUSU Clubs department.
RUSO is Student Union. So yep.
Best union.
So now let's come to some original questions about the astronomy. See, I don't have very idea about astronomy. I asked my cousin to help me out, so he
Yeah.
just gave me some questions. So I'm gonna ask you that.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, of course.
So moving to first question,
Hmm.
can you see planets in the sky?
You can, if you can see planets in the sky pretty easily. So of course, maybe you remember from year 10 or year 12, what's it's twinkling, what's not twinkling. What's not twinkling is usually the planet.
Hmm.
That's not always the case, but a planet usually, if you pay a lot of attention, like Mars and Jupiter and Saturn, they, even though they're dots, they look like stars. They have different colors. Like Mars looks a bit red, so it looks like a red star maybe if you don't have telescope. Jupiter looks more brown, so does Saturn. They look a bit more brown, and you don't even need a telescope. You can just look at it with your eyes and like, oh, that's a planet.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
I need to do more study about.
Yeah.
So moving to next question, how has light pollution affected our visibility of night sky?
It has affected it by a lot in a very bad way. So like we have insects and birds and all that actually use the stars to migrate, but they can't do that anymore because there's so much light pollution. And there's an organization called IDA Dark Sky. They kind of aim to establish these dark sky zones where they have lamps that don't point the light up. They have shade of some kind. Like I come from Singapore, we literally have the worst light pollution in the world, and I could count on one hand how many stars I saw on a regular night. So it's really unfortunate because when I came to Melbourne, I used to live in Templestowe. It's a very secluded area, so you can see a lot of things. And it's really beautiful, and it's very unfortunate what a lot of people miss out on. And that's what we have Astronomy Club for. We take people in the middle of nowhere, Pyramid Hill and 12 Apostles, those kind of places.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. So my third question is, what kind of telescopes do you have, and what can you see with it? What can
Yeah.
you see with it?
Yeah. So we've got actually we have, let me think. We have one refractor, so that's like Newton's telescope. You look through this end and there's a lens on that side. Collects light. You look through the end of it. We only have two of those. We have one that's really small and one that's longer with more magnification. Then we have two which are called reflectors. So they actually use a mirror to gather the light. So the same way a lens can take in light and focus it on 2 points, so can a mirror. The mirror ones are bigger because it's cheaper and easier to make a really big mirror than a really big lens. The lens is just more complicated. You can see a lot with both of them. With ours, I actually prefer the smaller telescopes because you can just set it up anywhere and you can have perfectly good view. It gives a good view of the smallest one, gives a good view of the moon. Everything gives a good view of the moon, and because it's low magnification and galaxies are actually really big, like the Andromeda galaxy is about 2 times the size of the moon in the night sky. You actually want a big field of view so you can see a lot in one image. And with the bigger ones, you can zoom into like I won't say mountain peaks, but like really big valleys on the moon. So if the moon's this big, about this big, you can see about this big parts of the moon, and that's like your whole field of view with the highest magnification. Yeah, I know it's a lot of information, but it's really interesting. I've been involved in it since 2020. I got bored during the lockdown, like many people probably on your audience did, and I invested some money against my mother's wishes into a telescope.
How much that cost?
Uh, it was, I think, $200, which back then was a lot of money. During lockdown, and it was my own money that I saved for like 3-4 years.
Just means I didn't write this question, but I want to know: does telescopes are expensive?
It depends. It depends what you define as expensive. If you have money, nothing's expensive, of course. But I think even for a student, most telescopes are pretty affordable. If you go with like what we call an 8-inch Dobsonian, it's basically an 8-inch mirror. It sits on the ground and you move it around. I think it's one of the best versions of a telescope. You can get a very good one for 600 also.
So
But
you are
if
saying 600 is cheap?
I'm not saying it's cheap. I'm saying it's doable and it's affordable. Like you look at how much a car costs versus how much a telescope costs, and if how much do you spend on Mikey every month, right? You spend 200 on Mikey if you go every day, or 300 on Mikey. But even that Facebook Marketplace, saves everybody's lives.
Yeah.
I got a telescope that gives me very good views of the moon for $20. It retails for 200.
When can I see something from your telescope?
Whenever you come to an astronomy club event, or if you drop by my house, maybe someday. Yeah,
Done. That's good.
absolutely.
So my next question is, when is the next solar eclipse?
I had to Google that one. I think it is sometime in 2028, April 2028, at least in Australia.
Okay.
Even though Australia is pretty big, it's at a spot in the world where, for one reason or another, eclipse doesn't happen very often. There was one in America in, I think, April this year. There was one in America in April this year, passed by Texas. It was very interesting. But Australia doesn't get them that often. I think once every 5 years on average.
Was the closest galaxy that's visible with naked eye?
That would be the Andromeda galaxy. If you, apart from of course the Milky Way, you can actually see the Milky Way. If you ever go in a dark, really dark sky, you'll notice there's like a weird cloud above. And actually, this happened at the Pyramid Hill event. The people like, hey, why is there a cloud? We are in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, no, that's the Milky Way. So that's usually the easiest. But if you're talking outside of our own galaxy, it's the Andromeda. It's really big. It's really bright. It looks kind of weird and a little bit brown. A lot of things in space, they look a bit red, blue, or brown. Some are a little orange. Yeah, Andromeda.
So yep. Moving to the next question, what is the closest nebula that's visible with the naked eye? I don't know what is nebula.
That's fine. So nebula, you have a star, it explodes, and it of course has a lot of stuff in it, right? So that's just literally stardust. So as it expands, it forms this weird shape that's called a nebula. And how the shape is, what kind of star it used to be, it depends. Then it's called different names, globular nebula, all these other words. I think the closest one is the Carina Nebula. It's this really beautiful red nebula. It actually has kind of a little bit of a heart shape inside of it. If you Google Carina Nebula, I think it's M42, but Carina Nebula, I think it's the closest. It's one of my favorites, so I might be biased. Maybe it's actually the farthest one for all I know, but I'm pretty sure it's Carina.
Okay. See, I don't have any clue, so
That's okay. That's fine.
So, how? Now this can be a again personal question. How did you get into this hobby? Just want no. Before this, I want to know. I forgot to ask this before. Which course you are doing?
I am doing my bachelor's in computer science, so not at all related
Yeah,
to my
that's
club. It's a matter of fact, my mom knows this, my sister knows this, my dad knows this, I know it. I don't like studying that much. Like, I have a good GPA and all, but I don't particularly enjoy it. It's these hobbies and things, brings people together. I enjoy that a lot more.
This astronomy thing.
Astronomy
Yeah.
thing, other stuff like that. So yeah.
I can relate with that.
Yeah.
How did you get into this hobby? Yeah, that means like I cut it off with the question. So, how did you get into this hobby?
Yeah, I got into this hobby actually. I was back when I used to be back in Singapore. I was looking at basically an equivalent of Facebook Marketplace, and I saw there was a telescope, and I'm like, huh, that looks interesting. I've never seen a telescope, and I used to watch a lot of Discovery Channel. I saw them using like telescopes to look at the moon, look at planets, find discoveries and things like that. So I was like, oh, I want to, look at it with my own eyes. Like, we've all seen the moon on a picture or a poster on the TV,
We do.
but seeing
I
it
do
with
have
your
pictures
eyes,
now also.
yeah, exactly, right? But seeing with your own eyes, it's its own experience.
Yeah,
So I always
that makes
wanted
sense.
to. And then when I had some money in 2020, I'm like, yeah, sure.
And now see, you have a lot of knowledge.
Oh,
about that.
no, still learning.
So, do you have outreach programs where people can come see through your telescopes?
We do. They're not very regular in terms of activities because RMIT students, and we usually need some permission beforehand to make sure that it's a safe and a good event. We try to meet just outside, like around Swanston Street, sometimes in Bandura. Any day you see like the moon's high up in the sky and it's night, we try to set up a telescope really quick for public outreach programs. We also are starting up a primary school outreach program.
Oh.
And at the end, no, around the end of September, I think 3rd or 4th week of September, there's the Dehradun Fuse Festival. So the area where I live in, the city is called Dehradun. So the city of Dehradun reached out to us saying, hey, you're the local astronomy club, do you want to participate in the Fuse program, set up a few telescopes? So yeah, you can find us there, hopefully. And once in a while, good weather, good cloud, no clouds, moon's looking nice. We might be on Swanson Street. Yeah.
So yeah, means I. So what kind of events do you do all out a year?
Yeah, it's mostly stargazing. That's I think
Okay.
80% of our business. Kind of, we do stargazing, set up a telescope, look at stuff. Outside of stargazing, we do a lot of just like fun community and hangout sessions. We did one with the literature club at the start of the year.
Oh.
It's a very interesting. We met them. So on the club's day, our stall got taken over by a different organization because we came a bit late. So we saw the literature club. They had some space. They're very kind people. They gave us half of their stall, and so we partnered with them. Yeah, it's just like fun. We did a barbecue. Yeah, we try to do barbecues. They're pretty simple, and we have this one guy, Arnold. He's very good at barbecuing.
Where was I? I want to know.
You weren't there at the best club, man. What can yeah, so a lot of social events, stargazing, astronomy, astrophotography, things like that. We're trying to do a meetup thing in October to
Okay.
encourage a lot of different clubs to come together for Mental Health Week.
Yep.
That is under my secretary. She knows more about it than I do. I just did the documentation for that.
Okay.
So hopefully lots of opportunities to see us.
That's nice. That's nice. This was from my side. Let's see. I don't
Yeah.
have. I told you that I don't have any knowledge about that.
Yeah.
So, do you want to have like some extra points? Do you want to add some extra points? Like who is watching this video? I don't. I know that there are not gonna be much views, but
That's
still,
the
like,
thing.
do you want to add some points, like what astronomy is related to, or some kind of thing?
Sure. Let's try. So, like, do I look at the camera or look at you? I don't know.
Look at the camera.
Sure. Right. So, there are a lot of people who wonder, why is space important? Why is exploration important? And those are valid questions to have. Space exploration costs billions of dollars per year everywhere. Australia as well, America especially. The thing is, this exploration, not only is it straight up fun and amazing. When you look at the moon, you should look at a child. This is the first time looking at the moon, their mind literally explodes, right? They go crazy. It also leads to a lot of benefits. For example, LASIK, the technology was developed by NASA when they were designing their system for docking two spacecraft together. It leads to offshoot technologies, and simply put, it's straight up really cool. If you've heard of the Carina Nebula by the James Webb Space Telescope, it just looks really cool. It's my desktop background. I'm sure it's the desktop background of millions of others. So like, it's cool, it's fun, and even on the individual level, like let's say you can't afford a telescope yourself, $800 might be a lot of money, perfectly fair. Get like 5 friends who all likes astronomy a little bit, and maybe like $100, 150, and there you have a telescope, because the telescope isn't going to be used all the time. So have fun with it, and whatever you do, enjoy. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So, this is my personal question. Are you gonna share this vlog with your team?
I don't know. I mean, if you release it somewhere, send me a link. I'll happily share with my team. I got invited on the RMIT TV podcast, but they didn't respond to me. Like they're like, "Hey, we would really love to have you." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. When do you want?" And then they just didn't respond. They just ghosted me. So.
Nah,
Yeah.
this is nothing related to RMIT.
I
This
know,
is my
It's your own
channel.
personal
Yeah.
adventure, and I really like it.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun that you're going through with it. A lot of people have an idea like, oh, I should really do this, but then they get occupied. They let homework take them over.
Yeah,
this or
yeah,
that.
yeah, they do.
So putting aside that time and putting in the effort, I think it's really respectable. It's a good job that you're trying it out. I hope it goes really well. 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We would love to see that. Yeah.
That's nice. So thank you so much for your time,
Of
Asher.
course.
Thank you so much for watching my channel. Hope you liked it. do share it, subscribe it, and comment it, and let me know that I know I am improving. But let me know if you have some questions or something. I can reach out to the Usher and ask him and let you know in the comments. Will you be able to help Usher if I reach out to you?
I am the usher. I will do my best. Thank you, Tandeep.
Thank you, Usher.
See ya.
Thank you much. See ya.